Welcome back into Golazo Match Day. We're building up to our match, but we want to take a look at a trend in Italian football, specifically in Serie A, with teams that play a back three formation. You can see on your screen teams that have utilized it the most: Roma, Milan, Inter, and Verona. Some more successful than others, but it's that second line that we want to dive deeper in. 15 out of the 20 teams in Serie A on Match Day 13 played with a back three, whether that's a 3-5-2 or 3-4-2-1, whatever the case. That is what we're going to break down, why that is, the benefits, and also some personal experience here, Troy, on how you would go up against a three-man backline. But let's roll it back. Let's talk about the history a little bit, or at least why I think teams in Italy play a 3-5-2, and you guys tell me if I'm correct or not. I think a 3-5-2 or a three-man backline gives you a lot of structure. Right? We see Napoli, who went into a difficult moment right now. They went to the three-man. It's more organized. Every player knows where they should be. So if you're not the best team, this could give structure to a smaller side. And then Antonio Conte might not have invented it, but he built a Juventus that went on to win 9 consecutive titles with the basis of a 3-5-2. And personally, that's where I've seen where it's trickled down and led to what we see today.
Yeah, football's in patterns, right? You see it in the Premier League with Pep Guardiola. Now you see Arteta, Maresca, all taking little snippets of what Pep does and putting their imprint on it. I do think football goes in phases. We look at who's winning. As you said, Conte wins 9, so Italian football goes, right, that must be the way to do it. Everybody tries to do it. I think when you are struggling defensively, you put 3 in, so we would normally be a 2. Now we're going to struggle because we're coming up against 1, or I have to go tight, you now have to cover, you're alone. When you put the 3rd one in, I can be super aggressive here in press. You come across, there's an extra person there. Now we've still got the back line. You're covered. Still got 2. We've still got a defence, just in case there's any problems. So I always think that. When you look at the modern fullback now, they don't really defend. They're more athletic. They like to go forward. So you put them in a position where they can go and press, and everything's in front of you. So that, to your point, I always think when they have a 3, that's when you go, OK, we need to shut up shop, but we need to put the best people in their best places and give them a little bit of cover.
Grella, I know you have a breakdown to show, but what do you think about the history? Do you agree? Is that how you see it?
I agree. I think Conte did it the best. He took it and did it the best. I think he put players like Lichtsteiner, for example, was not like really a traditional right back, but then you put him, like Troy says, in that wing back position where he can really take advantage of the big engine that he had and putting balls inside the box. I agree with Troy. It gives you the extra number at the back in the heart of your defense, where now you could ask guys to say, hey, maybe you're not the best in the ball. Maybe you're not the best in 1v1 situations, but now you can go and target guys. You can go and be as aggressive as you want because we've got 2 extra guys here. So you're going to always have an extra number on the back line. It gives you a lot of versatility, too, when you don't have the football, because back 3 becomes a back 5 when you don't have the football, right? So now in the wide areas where opponents' dangerous wingers are, you got that spot covered. You always have an extra number there. So that's off the ball. When we take a look at this, we're going to look a little bit at what on the ball also it changes. It helps center backs with options. The angles are better. When you play a 5-3-2, right? I'm just putting it this way so you can see it. A 5-3-2, the wing backs are able to get super high, and the center backs have so many different options. You'll see in this, we'll look at a 2 later to see how least they are. But even if they go down under big pressure, they have the goalkeeper. There's also a built-in width because of the wing backs. There's just built-in width. Teams sometimes can get cramped in the middle. Now, there's a fluidity as well. There's all these little pivots that you can make. So in this one, Inter's midfielder comes in a crosshair, and as Di Marco gets the ball, you're going to see how many options, again, he has. He gets to look up the pitch. He has the ball down the line. He has the ball into the midfield. He has the ball back if he feels he's under pressure. He's got this pivot sort of formulating right in front of him. Look how difficult it is for the opponent here to cover that mark and that space. And now, again, the built-in width stretches the back line. Look at the spaces between that back line. Between the center backs are tight, but look how far the fullbacks are because they're worried about the wing backs and they're worried about the strikers. And it gives you the advantage of exploiting this space in behind in transition. This formation favors teams that want to go on the counter, and the Italian teams love. They make their bread and butter going on the counter. That's an Italian staple. It's an Italian DNA. This one is Pio Esposito that ends up solving the issues. Now, this one is for Milan. This is what Troy a little bit was hinting to. Look how tight they can be. Tomori can be tight. Salamakers can be tight. Gabia's even tight. And that's okay. They still have 2v1 here on the back post. This guy's not going to hurt them at the bottom of the screen. They still have 2v1 with Anguissa. As we fast forward, now look what it looks like with the ball. Magnan gets it. Obviously, he's very good with his feet, so he's almost playing as a fourth center back in this example. But once it goes wide, watch the options that Gabbia has. He gets forward here, ball goes wide. This is the back three. So many options to play in the midfield. And if you get in trouble like they do in this clip, no problem. We'll go back to the goalkeeper. We'll be patient, and we'll have all these little pivots in the midfield. So a lot of options on the football for maybe center backs, right, that are not so good on the football. This ball swings back into Pavlovic, and then again, you're going to see the two midfielders come down into this space. You're going to see Pavlovic, who's maybe not number one on the ball, but he's going to have all these options and all this space. Rabiot comes down, Modric comes down. This allows space for Pulisic to hit into the counter, right? They drag down Napoli's midfield who want to press the football. Again, Estupiñán, so many options, so many angles with this formation. Here's the built-in width we talk about, 60 yards between the two wingers, because they're already set up there. And guess what the cherry on top of things are? Guess who ends up scoring this goal? The other wing back, who, by the way, started this clip as a defender, ended this clip as the guy who's scoring the goal. So it gives you versatility, fluidity, and it gives you the extra man when you don't have the football as well. So it's not an easy way to play football, but it's definitely a more simple way to understand it and cover spaces all over the pitch.
I know we have win percentages when teams use this three-man back line that we can see right here. And obviously, Serie A, 61%. Bundesliga is higher than I expected as well. But then the Premier League, 16% is a huge one. It's almost, for me, it feels like the modern 4-4-2. At least when I was growing up, every coach played a 4-4-2. Now it's a 3-5-2. You mentioned a little bit on the defensive end, you have the cover. But you playing as a center forward, you mentioned also the teams that you've played against, the tough teams. How is it for a center forward to go up against three? Is it different?
Yeah, it's if you're playing as a one,
yes,
it's awful, because I know this guy can come. You could be the defender. You can come as tight as you want here if the ball's coming from this side. I have to look after it. I have to fight you. We've also got another one coming here. When I have a holding midfielder coming here, now I'm dead. Everything I have to do has to go back towards there. The way the Inter do it with the two helps, because now both strikers go on the outside and leave the middle one alone. Now the middle guy is going, right, who do I go? Do I go this side and try and help? And now I've left you 1v1. So he's always waiting, which gives you a bit more help. I'd like to see more Italian teams play with two natural strikers, maybe a little bit old school, big man, little man, one that stretches in behind. I think AC Milan do really well with their two not really strikers, Pulisic and Leao, have these guys who can run on the outside, stretch it, and then cause problems in the middle. So there's nuances to it, but if you're a big striker who plays a one, it's your worst nightmare.
I remember I interviewed Luis Muriel one time when he was at Sampdoria, and he told me about playing against Juventus. He said, I had to go through one wall, which was Barzagli. Then if I made it past Barzagli, I had another wall in Bonucci, and then if somehow I made it past that, I had Chiellini. He goes, it was impossible. And then he had Buffon also to beat. Yeah. So we're saying all the positives for the three-man backline. But Grella, who won't thrive in this formation? What are some of the downsides? Maybe is it the creativity? Is it certain characteristics of players?
Well, when you play with a 4-4-2 or a four-man back line instead of a five-man back line, or like you want to think about it with the two center backs, we're going to take a look at a couple examples. You have less options on the football, right? And you need two center backs that are proper center backs that can defend, right? Because you can't be so aggressive like Troy's telling you there, because you're going to leave holes. This is what it looks like when you play with a back four. Napoli have played this way as well. The back four is right here. These are the two fullbacks. These two fullbacks will come inside, right? This is a little bit also a little pep tactic, by the way. These fullbacks will come inside and they create more numbers in the midfield. So they're able to overload more easily. You see here, it's a 4v2 sort of in this center part of the field. And because Di Lorenzo is inside with the football, that allows Politano to be wide here, which stretches this back line. Again, we'll see. And Politano's sort of acting as the wing back in the other example. This fullback has to come out. It leaves space here. They create a 4v4 against the back line. And then watch the movements here. It's, again, this little bit of pivot movement. This is almost a little big man, little man play, because Anguissa comes inside, pulls out the center back. And then you see the space open up for Luca, who obviously his struggle for them. But in this example, he gets his goal against Pisa. And this allows them to commit more numbers forward in the midfield line and also in the attacking line against the opponent's back line. So, and you see these moments. This is a clip of Lazio doing it. You see these moments of Marusic and where he's going to go in this play as well. This is the back four, so it just gives you a little idea. There's less options when you have the football, right? That's almost the same option, by the way. It's two options there, but that's almost the same option. There's less numbers in that back line. And again, tucked in fullbacks, midfielder coming inside, creating numerical advantage is in that midfield. And because Marusic is where he is, that allows this winger to be wide, which opens up the space for these third men runnings through the midfield. So it's a different way to do it, It's probably a more old-fashioned way to do it, but you have to have the right personnel. Like, for instance, they have Marusic and Tavares that can be really good fullbacks in those situations. They have two good center backs that are okay with dealing with those different moments. So it's just a different way to do it. I think you have less options on the football and you have less versatility, and it's not so suited for counterattacks. It's more suited when you have more possession of the football.
Grella talks a lot about Bastoni and why it helps him play in a back three as compared to a back two. Even Di Marco is another example, struggled at the Euros when he was a left back and is better as a wing back. Who else thrives in this system? Is there another position that you see that's it's important for three-man backline?
For me, again, if you've got a natural holding pivot player who wants to get on the ball, you allow the 8, the midfielder, to run. Scott McTominay, perfect example, right? Somebody that is known for their high energy. They can help in the build-up play, but they can crash the box and come in late. That's where you get the goals, because when you go wide, a lot of the balls are being cut back. If you play with a 4, it's normally a 1 and 2 8s, and they end up getting in each other's way. So you go, I go. I think when you have a natural holding pivot player that Napoli do, you see Scott McTominay being able to crush the box. So for me, the 8s.